seems like we're alive. All right, and welcome back everyone to the penultimate race of season number 6. We are here at the Italian Grand Prix, Monza, home of the Tifosis, Temple of Speed. So all you gotta do is pray. Well, pray in KPH or MPH. I don't know. I'll pray in KPH. Nick, what would you do?
I'll just pray to survive this race, honestly.
Oh well, yeah, of course, surviving the race it's gonna be the most important thing around here. You can shed all the downforce in the world and go for a very slippery car on this race, because that's what drivers will be needing in this race. And with just about 3 minutes to go before we enter the race, well, we got some updates on the championship, Nick. So after 8 races, now with 2 more to go, we have a sprint race today, so and also a main race, followed by a finale next weekend in Singapore. So that means we have about 50-ish points up for grabs for the top spot here today. That's for the Drivers' Championship. And then we have upwards of about 86-87 points for grabs in the Constructors. So, you know, there are things to be settled in this race. Now, here are the permutations to everyone in the chat as well. If Charis is leading the Drivers' Championship by 48 points right now. He would have won this in the previous race if he finished the race in some amount of points, or if we didn't have a sprint race today. However, that just means that he needs to secure at least 42 points of lead by the end of sprint. So what does that mean? If Charis does not score any points in the sprint today, Swiss will need at least a P2 or a P1 to keep the championship hopes alive into the main race and the last race, into the main race at least. You know, if after that, you know, Charis doesn't score a point and Swiss scores full points, there is still chance. You know, we may take this to Singapore. That's for the drivers. It looks like it's pretty much wrapped up, almost wrapped up right now, and we move on to the constructors as well. Nick, I think it's been pretty clear shot, and it's the better team this time around. We've seen how Red Bull has been performing. Mercedes came close, however, a few inconsistent performances here and there, missing some races meant that they have, you know, fallen behind in the race for P1. What would you make of that before I reveal the permutations here?
Yeah, I mean, Red Bull has shown that both of their drivers are equally very strong. I think that's something that Mercedes is not able to show this season. Doesn't mean that they are not good at it. It's just that unfortunately they have a weaker driver that has basically affected their ability to complete their constructors competitively against the Red Bulls. But it is what it is. They are working really hard to make it work, and despite some inconsistencies in their results, they definitely have made sure to keep it on track as much as they could.
Yeah, exactly. And well, mistakes always are a part of racing and sim racing as well. It might have helped them to gain a few positions. It may have not helped them in terms of losing some positions here and there. Now, it is a one-shot qualifying here today with a sprint race, 9-lap sprint race coming after this, and also 27 laps of full racing. So while we're still waiting for the drivers to get on track for this one-shot qualifying, here is the quick permutations for the World Constructors Championship in Season 6. As of now, Red Bull is leading Mercedes by 63 points, and if they want to win this by the end of the sprint, they will need to score 15 points more than Mercedes. So what does that mean in the sprint? If Red Bull scores a 1-2 in the sprint, as the fireworks are going on already in the background, if Red Bull scores a 1-2 in the sprint and Mercedes scores 0 points, that means if they're out of the top 8, Red Bull will win on countback already. But if Mercedes wants to keep this alive by the end of today's race, well, they'll have to score 25 points more than Red Bull in this entire weekend, including the sprint race. So that's going to be a challenge, considering 25 points is hard to come by these days, and also you know, with our shorter, or we offer more points up down to P15, 20 all the way down to 1 point. So it's going to be a little harder for drivers, you know, that are quicker to gain that advantage, as we finally have the countdown ready to go for one-shot qualifying here in Monza. Let's go.
Pretty solid run. We see Ayman coming in across the line as you're observing it down into T1. I think Monza in and of itself is a very, some would say easy track to drive, but in reality, it has places where you have to really push to the absolute limit in order to get the max points that you want. Turn 1, Turn 2, those chicanes are pretty strong. Whereas Turn 4 and Turn 5, as you see coming up right now, pretty easy to make a mistake. If you mount the curves not right, you might upset the car as you go. As you can keep searching along, as you see Shari's coming into Turn 6 and Turn 7, both very strong right-hand corners. And mount the curve as much as you can, just so you can get as much under the exit as much as you can. Now all the way down to the straight, all the way back into Ascari, brake at the 100-meter board, as you can see here, turning in, missing the apex here by Aslan. Yeah, unfortunately, I think that is definitely going to be Aslan out of the competition at the front if they miss the apex just like that. Track is a bit cloudy though, I'm not sure if that's going to reflect on our sprint race, but I think we'll see on race day itself.
Sorry, will be taken forward by just under a 10 to 18.2. That is a good lap. A very close one there by Zach to bring it in P2. Aswan there having a little moment we saw at a sky skate. Excuse me, I'm still coughing from last week. We still get to see a Ferrari 3 and 4. So good showing there for the home drivers here, Ferrari 3 and 4. I did challenge them to perform a miracle 1-2, which has not been performed since the start of season 5. So we'll probably hopefully see that. Maybe Red Bull can do a 1-2, maybe Ferrari can pull off a 1-2, but I think at the end of the day, well, it's really Mercedes who would like to get that 1-2 to save their championship. 18.8, Nick. That's a good lap around here.
Yeah, but you can see Mercedes as well switch the stronger driver right now, 2 seconds in front of behind Charis. I think Switz is either going to be aiming for race pace, or they're really just out here holding on to survive as much as they can and just hopefully get the points back on the next race. But I see Elia as well disqualified for exceeding track limits. That is definitely unfortunate. That means they're going to be starting at the back of the sprint race.
Yeah, that's the jeopardy of one-shot qualifying, as we love to see that sometimes. It really shows you, sometimes some drivers take a little bit more time to fire up, before they get into the groove of the race. The groove of qualifying. Some of them, take a lap or two, and then on their final attempts, they can actually go quicker. It plays into their strengths as well. Whereas some drivers are quick right off the bat, and they don't really improve towards the end. And so we see a variety of those. Short qualifying usually is the way to go, and sometimes now, like today, we have a one-shot qualifying for a sprint race coming up. Probably in about a minute or so, as waiting for the drivers to load in and the session to start. So
yeah, and
someone start early, looks like it, Nick.
Seems like it, but according to Zach, they were a bit soft, so not sure if that's our problem or your or Zach's problem. But what you call it? Not sure, but speaking back into qualifying, taking a few laps. Yeah, I'm also guilty of that. Sometimes you just need to get into the groove, remind yourself where the limits of the car is. Unfortunately for Alia, maybe they're used to it, but also, given that it's one-shot qualifying, a little bit of track limits is definitely going to affect your entire ability to get a time for the race. But as you wait here...
We're still waiting, yeah. Seems like, well, there's a bit of a chitter-chatter is going on in chat. My voice is softer than usual. I wonder why, because, OBS has been acting up quite a bit every now and then. I will have to actually bump up my mic. Well, if this is still okay for you guys, then we'll stick with this. Otherwise, I think I will find some time in between these sessions after the sprint to adjust the volume. So yeah, just let us know in the chat if it's clear enough as it is right now. I don't want to make it too high either, then you'll start hearing me coughing all the time. But, well, I guess it's okay right now. And sprint race, Nick. We have seen 6 sprint races in real life this season. And one thing we've learned is that although the format is quite different than in game, it's not updated just yet. But we tend to see, some drivers, like to, start at the back, in sim race at least. Some drivers love to challenge themselves by cutting through the field, and only top 8 get points around here. So it's a little more crucial, I'd say, given that the in-game format that we have, the sprint position determines your grid position as well. So if you have made a mistake in qualifying, like probably someone like Sweets who's down in P9 out of these sprint points, he'll have a good opportunity here to use these 9 laps to get up to his race pace and then challenge on for the remaining 27 laps in the main race. But it doesn't seem as easy as it is, right? Because as we all know, Monza turn 1, Nick. What's your hot take on that? I'm pretty sure you have a few at least. Yeah.
My hot take is I don't like Monza. I wish we didn't drive here, but here we are. But yeah, turn 1, I think a lot of people aren't familiar with the braking points here sometimes. And if you're not experienced enough, you're gonna forget to brake where you usually brake at, or the fact that you might forget to compensate for the cars in front for a couple of positions. But at the end of the day, sprint race, I think it's still best that you qualify as much as front as possible, because Monza, given a track that is, also straight, you don't really have an opportunity to overtake to you.
Exactly, and there we go. 5 lights are coming on, and it's in a weird position, the 5 lights. And now 5 lights are out, and we are waiting. When can we go? And away we go finally, and looks like it's a go, go, go. That's an AlphaTauri all the way at the back. That's Zach, who has a poor start here. From P2 is down to P14 already. Sharice goes into the lead, maintains the lead, I should say. The Ferraris are banding it up for positions, holding it out. Kendra there, making his return today, up to P4 already. And a bit of swapperoo going on in P10 between Elia and Nabil. So almost side by side they are at Curva Grande here and heading into turn 4. And next heavy braking zone. Looks like it's a bit calm here, as I say that they just bump race there.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty clean start, but it is F1 after all. We do have reduced damage, so I think some will really appreciate the reduced damage that we have here, and especially the fact that Switz had a small little touch at the that Neo Mercedes. So actually no, that's not Switz, that's Nabil. A small little touch. So definitely a little bit appreciated. Very clean first start of the sprint series. 9 laps to go to this race, as we see drivers coming down into the back straight before coming into turn 11. Pretty strong, I must say, as we see Sharice already 1.7 seconds in front of the grid. Well, I think the Ferraris will definitely have to work really hard to catch up to Sharice at this rate.
Quite a bit of side-by-side going on there, coming out of a Sky chicane and into the final corner curve. Alboreto, also formerly known as Parabolica. And now this is where you'll see quite a bit of action here. No DRS just yet in the sprint race. In real life, activated at the start of lap 2. There's a bit of a dive there for Nabil, looking for a position on Ayman there. Who time after time we've seen these two coming together in the races as well. Side by side they are. And I wonder how long this will go on, as we just bring up the tire details here for a quick brief moment here. We see majority of the field on soft tires here. Sweets and Easy also swapping positions, both drivers on equal pace. Rate them. They are also trying to make up a few positions on the start here.
Yeah, definitely a very cheeky pass by Nabil, but I think that was definitely a bit below standards. But right now, Nabil getting past, I think still fighting really hard on Elia, I think. Oh no, that's already gone past Ayman Haikal. So right now, it's still charging along, almost getting held up by Switch just then. But pretty questionable racing here. But that is the unfortunate thing about Monza. That's not really much overtakes here, so drivers really tend to take very unsavory opportunities at turn 1, as we can see from Nabil.
Speaking of opportunities, here we possibly might have a change of position for P4 here. the Red Bull of Hot Stuff here now getting into the tow around the outside though. It's not the easiest move to make, and on the inside, Kendra just holds his line there and retains P4 just for a little while. A little bit of a wiggle there on the exit, and there's Nabil going fully off track there and getting a time penalty. I'm pretty sure he will love to get that removed after race, but being in a sprint race, it's probably going to be detrimental to his finishing position. Anyway, side by side, they are banging wheels with Zach Wen. And into the next corner here, turn 4 chicane. He goes ahead, takes the inside line, and back up to P12 it goes.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about Monza. When you miss it, you really do miss it. And I'm not a fan of removing the 3-second penalty, but that's why you gotta make sure you are racing within the track limits. But definitely a little bit of desperation from Nabil.
Yeah, exactly.
By Hot Stuff.
A little bit desperate, I must say, considering he's dropped out of the points with the championship in line for Mercedes. So he's got to pull off all the tricks that we can. And here we just saw a brief moment ago, Hot Stuff overtaking Kendra into the Ascari chicane. But now, roles reverse, Kendra gets the DRS as well. Now, I wonder if these two are just gonna start trading positions over here, or maybe just Hot Stuff would love to secure that Constructors Championship today, deploying a little bit of battery there to keep his position, but no. Kendra goes around the outside. The Red Bull locks up a little bit, leaves him enough space, and down the inside, Kendra gets a decent enough exit, and you can see a few more drivers behind them. It's a 5-man train here for P4, and it's all starting to kick off here in lap number 4 out of lap number 9 in the sprint race.
Yeah, something tells me this is not going to end up clean if they keep fighting like this, but the two, Alpine and Red Bull, are very respectful of each other, and I think MKD right here getting the short end of the stick, a bit too much wiggle room, and now Switz going to make a move on MKD now for P6, and I think if MKD could recover in time earlier as well as Zach at back, will definitely want that position if they don't recover enough.
Actually, he's known as MacD. Because he loves McDonald's a lot. That's why.
Yes. And on the inside.
And that is not gonna be a happy papaya car today here. MacD, who is our reserve here, standing in for the Mercedes, the McLaren driver. And back to some action here. Looks like a little bit of DRS chicken going on into Parabolica here, and Hot Stuff has lost quite a bit of positions here, and he is out of touch from the top 3 already, but we still have plenty of action here. Switz, who is all the way back at on this grid, on this train in P7, he'll have a pretty good view. Let's ride on board and see what's exactly happening up in front.
Yeah, and as you can see, Switch showing that they are really strong on race pace alone, really confident in trying to cut to the top of the grid, and also the fact that the fronts are fighting means that Switch might have a chance, if they are able to just be patient and have stuff in front to happen, might be able to just secure P4, maybe, who knows.
Laps remaining over here, being held up by the Alpine though, all around the P4, and being the 4th and 5th man in the DRS is not exactly ideal as well, because it gets a good exit, but because of the flow from cars ahead, the Red Bull also just pulls ahead slightly, and now once again, lap number 6 has started. Let's see what happens down in the turn 1 here.
Chaos is going on. They're weaving in and out track limits just so they could break the toe a little bit as they get DRS. Right now, the Alpine being the one that is compromised from not having DRS, but OS a little bit from the, and that is unfortunate, and that's Hot Stuff in spinning out.
Wow, what's just happened there in just a matter of one corner? I think someone locked up there, and a little bit of tappy went on, and that's easy. I think he's losing a little bit of his he lost his few positions. Cut a corner here, I think, in order to avoid the car ahead of him, and I'm pretty sure he won't be the happiest person after all that has happened. We'll see if this will mandate a restart of the next session in order to rightfully adjust the positions. uh, we might just have a little bit of a break after this to reassess that. But anyway, back onto the action. As you can see from the distance, the Ferraris are just doing their own job there, pulling away from the rest of the chaos behind. Easy up into P4 now, switch that brings him up to P5. So he'll be happy to, well, I wouldn't want to say he's happy to sit behind, as he has a lot of points to catch up. He is within DRS of the car ahead. Zach up to P6 now. Kendra, look at this. He gets the DRS as well, and with a little bit of battery usage as well, gets ahead up into P6 he goes. His teammate Elia is just behind him in P8 right there. So double points as it stands for the Alpine pair.
Yeah, and I think the Alpine will definitely be happy about getting points in this sprint race, but as well, Hot Stuff just 5-second penalty from cutting a corner. I think Hot Stuff definitely trying their best to recover as much as they could, but who's that in the yellow flag?
Something going on in the Ferrari camp over there. Shahe, who was running in P2 and 3 with his teammates swapping positions. Was there some collision between the teammates? I don't know. We'll probably have to find that out after the race. But he's all the way down to P7 here, ruining a perfect 2-3 that they would have had for the time being. And that means now Switch is 1 inch closer to securing that P3 that he needs. Easy definitely carries a hefty penalty there, 15 seconds to his name for sure. That's probably going to be dropping him all the way down to P14 or 13 out of the top 8 points. So Switch won't be comfortable to sit around here, but I'm pretty sure he will love to make a move out on track here. 410s coming out of Parabolica with DRS and a little bit of battery here. I think Switch is going for a move here.
Maybe, but as you can see, just not easy with the 15-second penalty. I think that one we have to access. Oh, such an overdrive from the Mercedes. I think definitely deploying all the power that they could just to make the move. Right now, easy. Holding on to 15 seconds of penalty. I think that one we will have to monitor as the teammate also making a move on Ayman Haikal, but Ayman Kahapal having a switch back, but Nabil basically squeezing him out wide, unable to make the move.
Classic Monza turn 1 and 2 incidents there. As you can see, a little bit of dive from the inside, cut them off on the exit, and a little bit of wheel tapping going there. Soft tires, I believe, might just be starting to drop off a little bit here, but if anything, the medium drivers on the medium tires being like Aswan, Kendra and Shahid might just find it a little bit easier right now. But with just 2 laps to go, I think these positions are pretty much solidified here. Easy going for the re-overtake here, back into a scurry. Now he'll retake P3 for the time being, but for how much longer? Because looks like Switch is running pretty close on that Haas's diffuser.
Yeah, and also they might have to think about who to get the last overtake, because we only have one lap left coming into the final lap. But if they don't time it right, Switch might see them not finishing on top 3 before accounting for penalties. So I think Switch will have to think about this, or they might not, just so that they don't get compromised by the train behind them. But
exactly. As you mentioned there, a little bit of a battle going on there between the 2 drivers that have dropped out of the points inch early on. Still quite a bit of show being put on by them. Alien Hot Stuff here down in P10. Well, normally this would be points in the main race, but right now in the sprint, they're pretty far off. Nabil being the one in P8 with a 3-second time penalty though. He's being hounded down by Ayman Haikal right now.
Yeah, I think with all the penalties that we have right here, even on the sprint race alone, I think we're gonna see a little bit of upsets, especially the 15-second penalty from Izzy. Nabil being 3 seconds is gonna drop a little bit, maybe down into P12, whereas Hot Stuff with the 5-second penalty might just maintain it if they are able to keep a distance to Zanu and Zach when holding another 3-second penalty.
Just to end the sprint race, once again, the man proves himself on the top step of the podium, I'd say. Gets P1 Shares. Aswan comes from in P2 on the medium tires, so that might compromise his strategy a little bit in the main race. Switch comes in P3, back in P4 there, Kendra in P5, Shahir and Izzy. Well, Shahir comes from in P5, P6 here, Ayman in P7, Elia comes from the P8. Nabil and Izzy, unfortunately, due to their penalties, will drop out of the points. So that's going to be a little bit painful for them. in terms of making up the positions they needed to start in a better position in the main race. Well, 9 laps, that's quite a bit of action here, and we'll have triple the amount of action probably, as the main race is about to be greeted. We're about to greet the main race after this. We'll quickly have to check in Discord if there's any issues here with the drivers. Looks like no one's actually asking for any sort of restarts or anything. Well,
I mean, to be fair, given what we've seen, it's really hard to give a issuance of a restart, given that we have to really see through our see if we can review through our incidents to see what has happened before the start of the race. And we have a request. I personally, I don't think restarting the session will be a good idea, but it is what it is.
Indeed. So. Well, I've just issued a restart because of we did see some unfair penalties being in terms of the track limits. Some drivers were actually bumped off wide, and that resulted in some penalties. So guess what? We'll be back shortly after this, and we will restart the session for a main race after this. So let's just head out into the transition screen, and folks in the chat, well, we'll see y'all quite shortly. We'll be back after this, so stay tuned. Grab your drinks, grab your snacks. We'll be back with you after this. Okay, folks, so welcome back after a quick break over there to review some quick incidents regarding some unfair penalties. Thank you once again, Codemasters, for a pretty bug-free game that we could not remove penalties in between sessions. So we'll set up the lobby once again for the main race, and we have a few position changes here and there. Drivers, for the most part, I think they're happy with what the result is. And we can, Nick, if you can just inform the drivers, the lobby's up, and we'll get ahead with the setup.
We'll do so. But yeah, interesting sprint race that we had. Pretty close results that we have with. I think I will announce the positions that we're going to start off in the main race, shall we?
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we're gonna have Charis, who finished first by a long mile, followed by AJ in P2, Switz in P3, easy after reviewing our incidents. Shown that we are removing their time penalty. They're gonna get back P4, Zach in P5, Kendra in P6, Shahir. Unfortunate Ferrari going to go start in P7. Ayman Haikal in P8. Elia, the next Alpine in P9. Nabil, the second Mercedes driver in P10. Hot Stuff in P11. Zenu in P12. Zach in P13. And MKD and MacD in P14. This will be the lineup that we're going to start for our main race. So right now we're getting our drivers into the lobby, but I must say very interesting race so far. But it really shows how technical to the corners are in Monza, but overall you have a lot of DRS trains, you have a lot of long straights. It really is a 4D chess in understanding where you want to overtake, how you want to overtake, when do you want to overtake to prevent incidents. And as you can see, mistakes can happen with drivers forcing their way to turn 1 and turn 2. That has caused multiple incidents this time around. Turn 4 and 5, less of a place to get incidents. We did have very fun racing there, but as you can see, all these chicanes definitely make people desperate and cause things to not work sometimes.
Yeah, funny things can happen in racing, whether it's in real life or in the Sims. We'll always, as usual, bring you the fun. And yeah, thank you for the positions as well. And I think the drivers are, sharing a little bit of a sentiment of our humor as well. As I just mentioned to them, it's going to be a dynamic weather for the restart. And look who's joined us. It is Flaky. Well, thanks to all the shenanigans that has happened on track, Flaky finally finds his time after his grocery shopping to join us for this race. So he'll be starting way at the back, down in P15, regardless. We got some interesting weather predictions. We have snow, we have heat wave, we have earthquake, we have avalanche, we have tsunami, we have banjir, which also means
floods
in Malay, and we have meteor strikes by Zach. Well, you can turn into a meteor yourself if you want to, Zach, and make your way up to P1. We are still eagerly waiting for your first win in this season. Maybe this might just be your chance. Let's see. We have 27 laps for racing coming up after this. Typhoon as well. Now everyone's getting on the fun here. So we'll just quickly invite all the drivers back into the session, and we'll see how things are working out. So Nick, 27 laps. It's a long way to go in a race, even if it's 50% distance. Strategy wise, and we all know safety car is quite a common thing in sim races, especially in Monza. What are your thoughts on someone who'd love to take advantage of that? Perhaps strategy wise, what can they do here today?
I mean, Monza, it really comes down to just surviving on track. You have a lot of straights, corners. You don't really, so long as you keep your tire management well in the chicanes, most of the time it's really low wear. Certain drivers prefer low downforce for the straights, but some I know might prefer to get some little bit of downforce for turn 6 and 7, maybe Ascari, just to have a good run on the back straight. So it really comes down to your strategy, how you want to do it. I think drivers will prefer to have track position here. just so that they don't get caught up in DRS train. But you also need to think about the fact that sometimes when you are on track, you don't have a partner to pull you through, and that is going to affect your lap times. The no man zones here are very hard, very harsh, especially when you don't have DRS. So it's going to be a big problem for certain drivers here, as we see some drivers actually need invites here, like Kendra. But soon enough, we will be able to see the drivers think about this on track, driving as as strategically as they could. I think this really comes down to how experienced you are as a driver. Some drivers will think about it, some will don't, and that will reflect on their final positions in this race.
Yeah, and well, I think most of the drivers are in. Zachman is in as well. So we have 16 drivers. Is that 16, including me? Oh yeah, that'll be down 15 once the drivers are ready to spectate. So let's just quickly get into the positions here once again. So, well, to anyone who's watching, if you've never done a custom grid, well, this is how you do it. First of all, you enter the weekend structure. You can go down to starting grid setting to custom, and then you can go to the grid editor and you can start pushing drivers up and down. So let's start once again. Nick, if you could read out the P1 onwards, what is the starting order?
So the positions that we're starting on for this for this final race for tonight will be P1 will be Sharis,
Okay.
P2 AJ. We're gonna do this now. All right. P3 will be Switz, Izzy on P4, Zach in P5, Kendra P6, Shah.
All right.
Yes.
P5.
Kendra in P6, Shahir in P7, Ayman in P8,
I'm on P8. All right.
Elia in P9, Nabil in P10, Hot Stuff P11, Zinu P12, Zach1 P13, and MKD in P14. You get everything right.
Exactly. There you go. Mackie in P14, Flake in P15 because he missed the sprint, so he'll be starting at the back of the grid. And well, I'll be hitting spectate.
Zach will be P13, by the way.
Alright, let's double check that.
So it'll be Sharis, AJ, Switz, Easy, Zach, Kendra, Zach, Kendra, Sharis, Shahir, sorry, Zach, Kendra, Shahir, Ayman, Elia, yep.
Nabil, Hot Stubs, Zanubi, Zach went in P13, Mac P14, and Flake P15. There you go. So
Yes.
grid has been set, and now, well, it's time for us to get back into the session. And looks like it's gonna be, well, I was gonna say what's the weather gonna be. I forgot. It's gonna be dynamic weather. So let's get back on track for some more action. Let's see what the drivers are gonna be facing with today for the weather. It's gonna be interesting to see at the very least. There's a evil part of me, Nick, which is wishing for a bit of a wet race here today.
I mean, wet race could be interesting, but I think the drivers definitely would not want wet race. They barely could keep it on track in the dries. I don't think they will appreciate being in the wets. But given that wets does slow down the drivers, maybe we might actually get better racing in the wets. I think time will tell. But also, I think the drivers would not want to be in the wets because you are on a lower downforce setup. When you do that in the wets, you're gonna aquaplane a lot, and not sure if the drivers prefer to be on low downforce in such a wet Monza if it actually happens.
Yeah, and well, I think it's a good time to, quickly mention that in this year's game we don't have a wet time trial, so drivers don't really get that much of an opportunity to perfect their racing lines in the wet conditions. That's a little bit of a trouble. I'll admit that myself as well. Preparing for races, wet conditions has been a little bit difficult, but that also somewhat levels the field in some sense, where if everyone's been practicing for the dries and no one's practicing for the wets, it always tends to shake up the grid come race day, and we're definitely hoping for that with dynamic weather enabled. But I don't know. We'll just have to wait to see what happens in the lobby. And as drivers are getting ready, let's see if we'll get some wet weather action today.
Yep. And away we go. Are we going?
Yep, we are going. There we go. 15 seconds countdown, and it looks like it's getting to that crunch time. Monza I love this track. I
Really?
wouldn't say I hate it, Nick, but I get the point. You know, sometimes there are times in life where you just run into incidents. You know, safest place to be is at the back of the grid in Monza. Flaky will find that. Oh yes, exactly. Flaky will find that to be the best place to be in, all the way at the back, so that he avoids all those funny incidents into turn one. Let's hope everyone will keep it clean into turn one, as they did in the sprint race. So I think drivers are slowly improving as well. Like I think the way we've been, you have been strict with them in terms of racecraft and all, so that's definitely seeping into their skulls, into their skeletons, and they're making a good show out on track as well. A few incidents here and there, as usual. That's part and parcel of racing. And looks like we have a dry race to start.
A dry race. But yeah, as you said, racecraft, it's definitely been improving over the season. I think we as MSRL, as a league, we should really be enforcing better driving for all drivers, regardless of how high the standards are, because we always want good driving regardless of how good we already are. The bar should always be set high to make sure that we all have fun. It's not just about getting P1 here. I think we as drivers in sim racing should ditch the mindset of just wanting to win and more about having a good race. And I think a lot of the drivers here do actually just want to have a good race, and positions are a bonus. But unfortunately, sometimes we just get tainted with just a little bit of misjudgment, a little bit of over enthusiasm, and as stewards, we just really need to just remind them that, hey, we need to tone it down a little bit, just so everyone could have fun.
Exactly. And I'm very sure as well, Nick, you and I, we've had our fair share of taking other people out in various races as well. It happens from time to time, whether it's whether by our own mistake, or if there's a concertina effect up in front, and then we just misjudge where to avoid, to the left or to the right, or to slow down or to speed up. All those split-second decisions are not the easiest to make. However, some drivers will still say that's the luck aspect of sim racing as well. You may have all the pace in the world, but sometimes you just need that touch of luck to make sure you come on top of your rivals. Speaking of luck, well, what better than to bring out a safety car at the right time? I don't know, somewhere in the middle of the race to spice things up for the drivers that are going to go on the alternate strategy that's going to throw a curveball into their race as well. So looks like drivers are respecting the 2 minutes countdown here. That's also an issue that we always face in F1 23, not just in MSRL, but in leagues worldwide. There's no mandated waiting time in the game, so we'll have to enforce that manually. Drivers have learned their lessons that if they jump the start, in quotes, let me just put it, they will get a 20-second time penalty equivalent to a drive-through for a jump start, and also 2 penalty points to add onto their name. Accumulating 6 will result in a quali ban in the next race they show up. Accumulating 12 in a season will result in a race ban for the next race regardless. So, well, we're still waiting. I think our drivers will be okay to start. I'll just give them a start signal in the chat, and that will get them going, and we'll finally see what tires everyone are on. If I can spy correctly from the corner of my screen here, it looks like Hot Stuff here is on the soft tires. That might be a good gamble at the start. We have seen plenty of strategic options this year, Nick. You could start on the softs, you could start on the hards, and in between, it's all about the right tire at the right time.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to how the drivers want to approach the race. Some will always just want to be in the middle, just smack it right in the middle and have a minimal issues as they race. Some will just want to take opportunities right up front just for the track positions. I think we'll see in the race, as the race starts, what will happen to the drivers.
Okay, we have a quick info here. Weather radar says rain might be inbound for the second half of the race. I don't know whether that's true, but 5 lights are out, and away we go for the main race here in MSRL season number 6, round number 9, the penultimate race here. And looks like Aswan gets a pretty good start here, almost challenging Sharis into the lead. But here comes Switz as well around the outside of the Ferrari, and goes up into P2 almost, I was gonna say, but no, he holds back, and a lot of collisions going on in the background here, as we can see. Nabil, one of them getting caught in all the pandemonium on the start here. So it's quite a bit of a kerfuffle going on here. It looks like Nabil might be struggling with a little bit of connection issues there.
Yeah, as we see the back half hot stuff, they're all 3 wide into the next section of the chicanes. Hot stuff thinking better of it, pulling back. You know, it's still a 27 lap race. It's still very long. I think drivers need to think about it and, you know, not damage the cars early on in the race and focus on just recovering as much as we could. You know, you do have a lot of DRS energy here. You do have a lot of battery energy as well. It's all about managing it well as drivers, you know, both try to push point over too early on, not doing too much. And if you are able to, as we see, Flaky might have a move. But if you see drivers, you know, manage it very well, they might be able to just push it all out at the very end when drivers are out there.
Run here though on the soft tires, taking of which Zach being on the harder tires, hardest tires so far. That's a poor exit, poor run out of Parabolica, and he's gonna fall victim even further now. He's dropping down the grid. So is that some damage on his car? Looks like it. It doesn't look like it. Or he might just be stuck with his overtaking on or something. But he's definitely under pressure here from Nabil. So Zach rightfully lifts so early so that he doesn't run into any of them. Up in front though, look at that. Area on the stop has made up quite a few positions here and is up 5 positions from P9 up into P4. So he's up in a good position right now. Top 2 has remained unchanged so far, Nick. So let's see how things are going to unfold in the next few laps.
Yeah, I think just now, if we see just now, I think one of the drivers then use up all their deploy. I think that's one thing that drivers are able to catch other drivers off guard, is that when they're a bit enthusiastic on the deploy button, they might just forget that they have a limit on the amount of energy they can deploy over a single lap, and that might affect how they can survive the last few corners of the race itself.
Yeah, and well, Monza is not exactly the hungriest track on battery consumption, but like you said, every percentage also might help again. Oh, that is Zach out of the race. I wonder what has happened there. Looks like he might have just lost it at Ascari chicane here. Yeah, well, his car is just stranded in the middle of Ascari. I think he might have just retired on track there, or something seems to be going wrong with his game for sure, as he was complaining at the start, and that has meant his car is out of the race. He's out of the race, and then we are now down to 14 runners out on track, with Kendra all the way at the back here in P14. Who will be hoping for a miracle if anything. Back to the action up in front. Still quite a few cars within reach of each other. Shari is pulling off a 2-second lead to Arswan, who's pulled off another 3-second gap to Switz. And then from there on, Switz is leading quite a bit of a train here. It's a big old Mercedes train, all the way back down to P12, tail ended by Nabil here.
Yeah, I think if Switz is able to, we'll want to try to catch up to AJ just to make sure that, you know, they are within the DRS, so they don't need to use that much energy. But given right now with Elia right behind the tail, they might want to think strategically and just not deploy too much of the energy. Maybe let Elia, that's currently a bit enthusiastic, use up all their energy first. They are on the soft tires, use their ability to take corners faster to give them enough space for you. While to say, as we see a driver might be going off. Who's that? That's Shahir.
Shahir, who has gone off track a little bit on the exit of Scurry. Not the first time that he has done that here today. He started in the sprint as well, so maybe just a little bit of a struggle there. This specific corner is his Achilles heel, and he's losing position to both Alfa Romeos. Down to P11 he goes now, and that's not looking great for the Ferrari. We were definitely expecting them to put on a challenge. Into the pit Shahir goes, and he will get possibly a front wing change, and up in front we see a change of position for P3. Elia on the soft tires, overtaking Switz on the hard tires. So can Elia now drag himself up to P2 and P1, as one and Sharisa, before the soft tires degrade? There's quite a bit of a gap there, 3.7, 3.8, but Switz sticking in the toe, getting the benefit all the way down the track. And now a few more positions going down as well. Flaky and Zinubi is playing a little bit of team orders there, allowing Flaky through. Up into P9 he goes. Next up for him will be Hot Stuff. As he gets a poor exit though, Zinubi doesn't mind that and will re-challenge his teammate for that P9. There's a little bit of a back and forth there, no team orders in the Alfa Romeo garage. Flaky runs even wider here, showing that lack of track time that is had by missing the sprint, and it's affecting him. Nabil is now on his gearbox.
I think also that I think they're on the strategy on to reduce time loss, even though they are depending on who is the faster driver. But it's a good idea to do so. Given that you can see Zanoop still trying to get Flaky by, but at this rate, Nabil might try to make a move if Zanoop is not careful. Might actually get a bit unfortunate in terms of his positioning. But right now with Flaky in front, Zanoop might get the DRS train, might be able to pull in front, but might Nabil be there to disrupt everything that they have right now.
Speaking of DRS train there, the train is starting to break up a little bit now. Elia, Switz and Easy are starting to pull away just a little bit there. We saw Switz go for a half-hearted move there into turn 1, not exactly sticking it, and as a result they are starting to bleed a little bit more time to the top 2 there. And once again, going for a half-hearted move there, not exactly committing. Elia does run wide, but Switz now gets an opportunity to close that gap up back into Lesmo 1. Okay, into Lesmo 2, it's going to be a good opportunity. I think that's because in yellow, and that is Nabil, I think, who has spun. Was it Nabil?
Nabil definitely,
or
yes, Nabil.
It was definitely
Nabil did spun.
Quite a bit of time to make.
Yeah.
Might have been caught there by someone.
No, I think Nabil definitely has caught Zanoop while doing an overtake. Not sure what has happened there. Definitely not the best idea to overtake in those chicanes, especially when you are struggling for positions. So I think that has definitely pushed Nabil far back, but he has given Zanoop has definitely overtaken Zanoop in that position. So at least they have one driver down.
Looks like the soft tires might start to struggle right now with 6 laps into the race. Hard tires are facing just nice. Switch goes for a full-hearted move this time around. Breaks the breaks just enough to make sure he doesn't lock up there. Ayman and Mackie as well, 2 good friends. They are also swapping positions back and forth, so it's gonna be a recurring theme around here. If you are on equal pace with someone, you're probably just gonna be DRS swapping with each other, hoping to drag each other along. Or if you do it wrong, you could be slowing each other down. And we see Zekwen and Kendra, they're having a little bit of a moment here. Zekwen, I think he might have ran wide there onto the gravel though, so he's still in the race. Shahei, who's been a little bit quiet here on the medium tires. I think he's had a little bit of trouble there earlier on the first few laps on the hard tires. So he's put on the medium set of tires here. It's 15 seconds and catching to the leaders. So we'll just pull up the gaps here. He is still 47 seconds away from the lead. We'll come back on that in a few laps time to see if he has improved any further. But for now, all quiet, all well behaved out on track so far.
Yeah, I mean, given how Shahir is so far away, as you see Kendra taking a move on Zanoop for the position down Ascari. But yeah, going back to Shahir, being so far away from the rest of the grid is going to affect their lap time significantly, given that they have no drivers to perform the DRS train on. And, I think as much as Shahir might want to catch up as much as they could, they might just have their race written off here, and it's just more about finishing the race to get points in this moment of time.
Well, he definitely will score at least 2 points there for P14. Points are being offered for top 15, and well, he's definitely scoring some points here. Meanwhile, his teammate up in P2, minding his gap just about under 3 seconds there or thereabouts to Sharis. We've seen this happening back in Silverstone as well. Excuse me, back in Vegas as well, I think, where Aswan was just keeping his position, recharging his battery, saving his tires just a little bit, and then when the time came, he actually went for the most and the defense. Quite stellar defense and attack there in Silverstone. We might have a repeat here for sure. I think he's going to be pushing for the Tifosi home win there. But yeah, back onto some action here. Looks like we still have quite a bit of position swaps, DRS trains starting to reform around here, with none other than Switz leading the first train here in P3.
Yeah, I think that the Monza, as you see Kendra getting a 3-second penalty for track limits, but as I was saying, Monza really reflects what it's like racing in real life, as we see drivers not much fighting on track other than on the straights, as we see Izzy going on the inside of Elia right now successfully without incidents this time around down into turn 1. But yeah, DRS trains all everywhere.
Yeah,
in
at the same
Monza.
time as well, Ayman and Magdi once again, like we just spoken in the previous lap. I think they're going for it again, and I think Ayman there might have just gotten a poor exit, and he's defending the outside line here. Magdi goes on the inside of the shorter line and gets his car ahead. Stops it just nicely for the chicane. Back up into P6 it goes. Still 5 seconds further ahead of him is the first train that we are still watching closely. What's going to unravel?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be position swaps left, right, and center. I think drivers will be smart enough not to compromise each other's line. That is the ideal way of racing here. And until the pit stops, until they have to pit, after they have to change tires, it will be in everyone's best interest to work closely to cooperate, just so they are fighting with themselves and not have the likes of other drivers from P6 or like other trains to join in. That way you can keep your positions while you don't have to fight your positions with the entire grid.
Yeah, and well, if we are to take the information provided by Zilub in the chat, I don't know if that's true or it's just some funny meme, satirical joke is trying to pull off here with the weather. If it is indeed going to rain, well then definitely the hard tires are the tires to be on for the time being, and with the likes of Elia who started on the soft tires, perhaps he'll be hoping to get a better pace once he goes on another set of tires in the later part of the stages. And let's go back to some action out on track, to the guy who always wants some on-track action and some on-screen action, Nabil, who's trying to recover his race as well. Down in P9 right now, up ahead, 10 seconds ahead. It's gonna be a long big drive here for him to even catch up to hot stuff, who's 10 seconds ahead. So still a long way to go. We're just about a third of the way through in this race. 9 laps done. We still have 18 to go. Weather could be a factor, safety car could be a factor as well, but so far everyone's just being pretty chill with the track, respecting the track, not doing all the limits, and that's not exactly causing any incidents that we want to see.
Yeah, but also for the past few races, we do see that the safety car is a bit lazy coming out in MSRL. So as much as we hope to get safety cars, I got a feeling that even if drivers retire, we might not see a safety car here in Monza, because honestly, most places that are prone to accidents don't really have a risk of secondary crashes. So I don't think safety car might come out, but we'll see we'll see soon as easy swapping positions to Switz for the Diaz train. Switz, I think, not thinks pretty long term, not fighting for it, just so that they could keep themselves with minimal time loss during this moment in racing.
Probably be the best course of action for these two, since they are still fighting for P3 quite heavily here. P1 and 2, they don't really look like they are pulling away that much right now. But they're still probably going to give it a good go. Matty, though, I think he's had a little bit of a problem here coming out of 10.5 chicane. He's dropped quite a way back to P8 now. Hot stuff is good, and now hot stuff gets a bit far away here on the back straight. Usually drivers tend to hold on to the DRS for this back straight here, just follow through after his scurry and then make the move in turn 1, and then try to pull off a move, try to pull away the gap, I was trying to say, in sector 2 and 3. Ayman is an underrated driver, exactly. Ayman's been doing pretty well here the entire season, and up in P6 as well, now defending from hot stuff. Easy and switch, well, I think we'll just leave them for a while there to swap positions as we go back on board here with hot stuff, who is, well, in the Red Bull. They will possibly win the Constructors' Championship after this race with the positions that they have right now. Switch as well, I think might have just lost the Drivers' Championship there today after the sprint result. So Sharis will definitely be taking the Drivers' Championship today if he finishes the race. That is, he still have to finish it with at least 1 point so that Switch doesn't win it. We saw a driver Zach Wen losing the car out of a scurry chicane, and I think that has not brought out a safety car as well. So like I said, the safety car is a little bit lazy to come out. We usually expect when there's say a retirement, the safety car will be coming up, but unfortunately there's no safety car as well. Just for sanity clarity's sake, let's just check if the safety cars are indeed turned on. I'll be hoping they are, because that's usually what it is. There you go. Safety cars are turned on to standard as usual. No safety car. That I suppose that's just hard luck here. So they will still have to hope to make some moves out on track here by their own pace here. Once again, we head back to Ayman and Hot Stuff here. A battle for P6 here.
Yeah, I think Ayman, given now, stalling in between Hot Stuff and McD, both, I think McD is not gonna be a bit sad that they have a third driver in the partnership in the DRS train, but for Ayman, they definitely do not want to. They definitely appreciate being towed along within this small train, because at this point, at least they are, picking back up in pace due to DRS. But how long can they stay in this train? Seems like Ayman is falling behind as Hot Stuff is trying to create a gap. McD definitely does not want to lose Hot Stuff in this fight, so McD might think about being as close to Ayman as possible just to get the DRS and overtake Ayman. But then that will be up to Ayman to think about how they could stay alive in this train just so they don't lose the DRS. Because once you lose the DRS, you're gonna lose a lot of speed down the straights that have DRS enabled, and that's gonna affect the lap time.
Briefly, we saw that from the onboard of Ayman as well. Hot Stuff is under 10% battery deployment already, and I think he was trying his best there to break away that 1 second gap, but no, Ayman has done pretty good job here. So is Mackie to stay within 1 second of each other in this train, and that means if Hot Stuff has a race pace advantage over here, Ayman and Mackie are going to benefit from that as they're going to be dragged along with DRS here. First of the pit stops, I think we are going to be greeted by Elia, who started on the soft tires here. 13 laps in, he's managed to hold on for quite a while here. Excuse me. Onto a set of medium tires, which will easily go till the end. And we start to see a little bit of clouds forming on the track, Nick. So I wonder if that's that there is a possibility of rain here. Nabil is into the pits as well from the hard tires. I think he's gonna call it quits on the hards and go on to the set of mediums quite early, possibly still indicating that there might be some rain to come later in the race, and going early on these mediums will definitely guarantee they catch up the grid up in front. Regardless, back to some action. I think we still have the battle for P6 between Hot Stuff, Ayman and P5, my bad, as Kendra has actually pitted. Elias actually pitted, and he's come up 5 seconds behind his teammate, so that will not exactly be the hardest overtake to do, it's a teammate. Back here though, Ayman, as you can see now, 5 tenths as they exit Ascari chicane, and I think that lack of battery that Hot Stuff has, I think is starting to bite him and hurting him, his top speed down the straight here.
Yeah, I think Hot Stuff is a bit too focused on track variation and not think about the long term. At this rate, as Hot Stuff, yeah, it's more about having a partnership with your opponents on track. Fighting this hard, it really benefits no one, and in Hot Stuff's benefit, he wants to catch up to T4 as soon as possible, and the more battery he depletes trying to fight the position, the less likely that he's gonna get that position, because you're not benefiting. You're running out of battery, and now you might have the possibility of losing Ayman as well in front of him, as McD just now missing their breaking point and basically spraying off into the barriers for a moment there.
Yeah, 4 tenths the gap now, and middle sector is going to be crucial if Ayman does pull away from them. Placate Kendra now, the next set of drivers to head into the pits here. Looks like the pit stop was just Placate onto a set of soft tires here, so that's a suggestion. I'm pretty sure there's definitely some rain on the horizon. He's the soft right now. Kendra going onto the hards though, so maybe not so confident if the rain's going to arrive at the right time here. He'll take the hard tires till the end for sure. He comes out just 2 tenths behind Nabil, so that was a pretty good stint from him. And now Nabil will have to possibly contend with Kendra, and Kendra immediately goes for the move on the inside and pushes Nabil slightly off there at turn 5 and goes up into P10. So now Nabil has to do his best to stick with Kendra in the sector and hopefully get dragged along despite being on the hard tires. Kendra did a pretty good job there.
Yeah, and also I think the drivers in front can see that rain is coming. The sky is getting dark. I think all of them are trying to hold up the hard tires as much as possible in hopes that they are able to just one-stop it. As you can see, the track is a little bit shiny. I think that's just how this game reflects a very rubberized grid, but it does make drivers concerned that there might be a little bit of a wet track, even though we don't see water droplets on track right now.
Yeah, and well, I think we can put that aside. And it definitely looks like Ayman here is doing really well here on the hard tires, as someone mentioned in the chat, against someone with the medium tires. The medium tires will be feeling really second-hand right now, and pretty sure Hot Stuff would love to get rid of these tires. Go as long as possible, I think, and while it still has the DRS, get dragged along and then fit on the soft tires for the second stint. I'm pretty sure that's the game plan here for the Red Bull drivers at the very least, or this Red Bull driver for the very least. Up in front, let's just quickly touch base again, Nick. Shah is still in the lead once again, proving why he deserves a championship this season. He's done that time after time, race after race. A few glitches in his racecraft in the previous races or so. 2 times he fallen victim to Arswan's race case as well. But now 7-second lead, so he has the buffer as well. So does Arswan to Switch, who still has a 2-second gap. Easy as well, they're right in between there. And then we have the secondary battle going on here. And Hot Stuff already on a set of intermediate tires. Okay, excuse me. What is happening over there? Has Hot Stuff just predicted something, or he's seeing some raindrops that we can't see just yet out on track? Because he's already on the intermediate tires, and it doesn't look anywhere near like it's pouring down right now, Nick.
They might be also just preemptively putting out the inters, but the other question is it will it be is that rain droplets? I see, it might be just the screen, but
Now I
they might just put it on for the sake of it, just because they know it's gonna rain. But is it actually gonna be a good idea? Kendra has a get penalty for cutting corner. That is definitely not ideal for Kendra. Definitely on the chicane. Not sure what has happened. I guess an incident with Nabil, or they might have just missed the corner. That's usually something that might happen as well, but
sure
unfortunate for them.
There for sure. Yeah.
Oh.
Hot Stuff picks up a 3-second there. Yeah, I don't think these intermediate tires are working out just yet though, because he's losing touch to Shahi is gaining on him, who's on 12-old medium tires. So definitely the medium tires, the intermediate tires gamble. Excuse me. The intermediate tires gamble is not the right one right now. If I have to guess, I think his medium tires early on, Hot Stuff, were definitely running out of life there, and he had to make a pit stop regardless. And I think it's just a lap or two short of the actual rain projected period here. So I think that confirms one thing: there is rain coming, but when, I don't know. The track is still getting darker. Shahi is catching up to Hot Stuff here, so he'll probably want to make the move as soon as possible. And if Hot Stuff does nail this, he might benefit a position or two, but he's going to be on severely worn intermediate tires by the time the actual rain arrives. So quite a big gamble there from him, considering his strategy didn't exactly go as planned. One strategy that's definitely going to plan, I think, Oh, that's Hot Stuff out. That's Hot Stuff out. Let's just hold that thought. And that has actually brought out a safety car on the lap when it's starting to rain.
Oh my
goodness. You cannot script this any more than it could be scripted, Nick. Hot Stuff on the medium tires early on, wanted to go on the intermediate tires. He could not make the mediums last, and now he's finally on these intermediate tires, and he drops it on the lap. It starts raining. If he just would have held on for a few more seconds, I think he would have been safe here. That has brought out a safety car, and that means everyone up in front is going to have to box under the safety car here, and that means we will have a race reset in some sense, and heading in the last 10 laps here, we'll have a rain under the floodlights of Monza. Shariz, who managed to get past the safety car before it came out ahead of him, he'll have to make sure that he abides by the delta so that he doesn't speed in the pit lane. Oswald already making a stop here. A 5-second penalty for Kendra as well. Yeah, it's really starting to get sketchy out there. Let's just quickly bring up the penalty tally as well. Kendra gets a 5-second. Zanubi gets a 5-second for speeding into the pit lane as well. So it is really starting to get sketchy. Ayman picks up a 5-second as well. I'm pretty sure that was for the pit lane violation there. So this may come back to bite them at the end. Ayman, who was running brilliantly in P5, fighting off with MacD and hot stuff early on. That 5-second might be quite crucial towards the end. Kendra, I think he may want to get that 10-second penalty reviewed after the race for sure. Luckily, that will not be served in the race in any condition. But that 5-second that he just picked up for speeding in the pit lane, well, that's gonna come to bite him back. Now, our race leader into the pit as well. His box as well. Safety car is waiting on the exit of turn 2, Nick, and we have a moment to breathe.
Yeah, but actually, there's another question you got asked. Is it too wet for the intermediates? I think that that is something that drivers didn't think about, did they? Because you're gonna be under safety car for as the safety car is waiting for P1, but given that they're gonna be on driving in these conditions for more than a couple of laps, will the weather be picking up, or will the intermediates be just enough? As we see drivers, weaving in and out just to get some temperature to the tires, indicating that there might be some struggles, but it might be just struggles based on setup. We have to see, but I think time will tell as drivers coming in. Is that for wets? Nope, that is.
He's serving his 5-second penalty. So what? Well, that is a big decision there made by Ayman Haikal to pit while the safety car is still out. And look at that, he's only lost 2 positions while boxing because the safety car is still going slowly. And I think he's made a sort of a damage limitation here. And on the exit, I think he'll be fighting with Shahid for the position. I think he'll have to let the position go. He definitely wants to go as slow as possible to avoid the 10-second penalty. And there you go. He does it nicely. 3 positions lost as a result of serving that 5-second penalty under the safety car. But I think that's definitely a well-thought decision there by Ayman. Once again, good racecraft, I think, goes a long way, like you said. And Nick, would you look at that?
First wet driver, I think they are gambling. Kendra, nothing to lose at this point, might as well get into the wets. But the question is, would that be enough? Actually, would they in the intermediates before this, pitting in twice? Don't think that's really beneficial in the long terms of track where we are in track positions. But I guess.
Yeah, I think it's a big gamble here. If it is indeed going to get heavier as the race goes on, we're still on lap 19 here. Right on one of the leaders starts into the safety car. So we'll have about 7 laps to race. Probably this will be the last lap of safety car. And while drivers are trying to catch up, I think, excuse me, I think the gamble for the wet tires here might be a 50-50 in my opinion here. Kendra is definitely trying to warm them up, and I think he's having a little bit of trouble with on track. I think he's making me laugh quite a bit while I'm talking, and causing me to cough quite a bit as well. But yeah, he'll have to do his best to catch up to the queue here. Everyone is into the pit as well. Is it?
Might be a bit too wet.
Yeah, he's into the pit. I think he's going to serve his 5-second penalty as well. He's only going to lose 1 position to his teammate by the looks of it. And yeah, that's a 5-second stop that he has to serve. Excuse me.
But it's only for intermediates.
Intermediates again. So good choice there, I feel. Losing 1 position to your teammate is probably the best case scenario when you are trying to serve a penalty around here under the safety car. But I'm not sure how long more will this go on, because the safety car is already in sector 3 here in a starting situation. Will this be the lap that the safety car goes in, or will it go out for another lap? We'll have to find out. I think it's going to go out for 1 last lap here, because I will still have time to catch up. Hot stuff though. We were just mentioning about the early on the reason of the DNF because we put it on the beginning tires while we were still dry. And the moment in DNF, that's when the rain dropped. So it's kind of ironic how things turn out, right? But yeah, Kendra now into the pit lane once again. He might just get lapped here if he does not bolt on the way out of the pit lane. Yeah, there we go. He's back onto the intermediate tires, so
Oh
probably
no.
gambling on the wet tires here, but luckily because there's still safety car out on track, I think he'll be racing against time here to recover the entire lap just so he can get on the back of the grid. Or is he really struggling with his setup or something? That I don't know, because he seems to
I think
be spinning out, almost spinning out despite being under spinning here.
I think it's just more of drivers unable to adapt their very wet tire, very low downforce setups to a very wet Monza. You know, as much as you want the cars to actually put power down, you gotta work on making sure you slowly put the power down, make sure you are within the realms of the grip of the tire. But no matter how much power you put down, it's just gonna work. Not gonna work for any intermediate or wet tires here if you're gonna put it that hard onto the floor.
Kendra is now at the mercy of the safety car, I think. He has a 13-second time free from track limits, I'm pretty sure of that. And 10-second for probably, trying to cut turn one or something that he will probably want to do at the end. But regardless, he's he's racing against time here. He's going almost at full racing speed here, doing the safety car to catch up to that safety car, which is now quickly approaching the end of sector 2 and the start of sector 3, and we'll probably get the safety car that message right around now. There we go, right on cue. So Kendra, I think his gamble there might not have paid off here. He's still in the points, but he's got a long way to go unless there's another safety car at the end. The other person who is slightly further ahead is Zinubi, who now you can see pushing as hard as he could to catch up to the train. And if Charis would, do a favor to Kendra, I think he might go as slow as possible here. But he can't
And
be
he
too slow
goes.
either way,
Oh
right?
no.
He can't be stopping the train around here. So Kendra, I think he's made a mistake here today. Good race early on, but it's quickly unraveled in the rain. And well, Zinubi has rejoined the train here, so we have 11 drivers ready to restart the race. It's gonna be hectic here. Low downforce, Monza rain. I think we've got.
And away we go.
And away we go. Exactly. Oh, quite a surprising pull away there from Charis. There makes a quick getaway. Can see the rear wiggling a little bit on the exit. Switch quickly on the back of Azwan already. Shahe and Elia as well. I think they're going side by side there, and they can't overtake until they get past the start finish line. And there you go. So all in good order right now into turn 1. Let's see if all the drivers could keep it on track so far. A few lockups there. Maggie there locking the rear. A little bit of a handbrake effect there. Manages to keep it on track so far.
Yeah, as you can see, MacD, I think out into the wall right now. I think a lot of drivers getting caught out with their very low downforce setups, and I think MacD saved it. No damage.
Definitely saved it there. Good reactions though to save that car. No damage, so he'll be continuing all the way from the back. Switch and Easy. What's happening over there? So looks like Easy might have just went for a very audacious dive there. He's up into P2 somehow. So we definitely missed what happened there. We'll definitely like to get some review from the driver after the race. Ayman Aika runs very wide there on the exit of Lesmo 2. And then he's going to be switching wheels to Elia and Switch here. Elia, once again, brilliant race. He started on the softs, went under the median, and safety car came on. Now he's back to P5 where he initially would have wanted to be as well. Shahe picks up a 3-second penalty, so it's getting a little bit squiggly here. Switch is losing positions, and now he's down back to P6. Ayman gets past him, and now Nabil is almost to his teammate here. Shahe on the outside, Switch on the inside at Parabolica. Who's going to yield position? Looks like Switch gets the inside line. Shahi gets the better eggs around the outside, and now this is probably going to be a drag race. No DRS in the wet conditions here, so it's all out attack for anyone who wants to make an overtake here.
Yeah, and as you can see, a lot of drivers not used to the wet weather and basically missing their braking points. This is crucial for them because especially in Monza, when you lose your cornering in this track, you basically lose all your exit speeds, and you can see just losing exit speeds costs you 2 to 3 positions just because of how close the grid is after a safety car restart. And so it's fighting strong in P3 before the restart. Now down in P5, they definitely want to put in strong just to get the positions back. Kendra, another 10-second penalty for cutting the corner. You gotta stop cutting the corner in T1. They do penalize you really strong. for a
7 more
reason.
seconds of penalties. I think that will bring up 30 seconds, which is an automatic disqualification in the game. So we'll have to be careful here. He does not have much wiggle room left here. 5 laps to go. We are on lap 24 or lap 27. It is raining quite heavy around here, Nick. And if I'm right, it definitely rained a lot heavier than at the start. So this might be sudden returning to wet condition here, but there's only 5 laps to go, so that will have to hang it out in this condition. So for now, Ayman on the back of Shahey. Shahey has the 3-second penalty, so regardless of what happens, I think Ayman will be jumping in. Essentially, Darrell will have to put down the power. Now on the exit, Shahey gets a little bit of a poor exit, looks like it, but there you go, no DRS, so that means all the straight line speed that you have in the car, in the setup, is going to save you. Into turn 1 though, Ayman is looking for it, but he's not close enough to send it into turn 1. Up ahead, just slightly, we see Elia running a little bit wide and switch, making a switch back there. Almost messed up the range there. Switch back, almost. Yeah, and now Shahey is challenging Elia as well for that P5 here. Side by side they are at Curva Grande. Into turn 4. What's happening here? As the camera angle just cuts off at a bad time here. Shahey gets ahead, stays ahead, or at least, I don't know. And we have a little bit of a yellow flag at the back, and that is Kendra once again going quite wide at turn 1, so he does not want any more penalties already. 8 seconds there, up ahead for Sharish, who's pulling away, losing P2, Aswan in P3, so it's not over just yet. We have 4 laps to go in this Italian GP, which has started in dry conditions. Now it's wet.
Yeah, and I think Izzy here, not sure if because of experience or the fact that they're set up as a bit more high downforce. Right now, pulling a pretty good distance to Aswan. But as you can see, Switz making a small mistake, and now Shahir and Elia now back in front. Switz definitely needs to work on understanding where they need to brake for.
Kendra's DNF. Kendra's
DNF.
In the sector. I think that's the end of his race though. Not sure if he has completed more than 90% laps to be qualifying as a classified finisher. But that means we are down to 11 runners here. And we are still focusing on the battle here between Switz and Shahid, who's up. Shahid is up in the P4 here, so it's a good 3 and 4 for the P4 here. One of the drivers are on the podium here. Another yellow flag there, and that is, well, that I think is still
Kendra's car. It's Kendra's on the side of the road.
Up on the side, so that's not an issue. Looks like it. Switz here missed his braking zone earlier in the previous lap in the Scottish chicane, and that allowed Shahid through. Quite a cheeky move there by Shahid to cut across under him, and Ayman made a move as well, but now Ayman dropped back into P6 here. Still a good position here to be in for Ayman. Elias right behind him as well, so I think the drivers are a little bit more adept to the situation right now, but it's only 2.5 laps to go, so if you want to make any move right now, I think this is the crunch time.
Yeah, even Shahir right now is catching up on Aswan really quick. I think Aswan just having struggling a little bit on the wet conditions. Now, if only Switz could just, get their braking points at corners like Ascari, as well as not locking up their brakes too much, they might be able to just secure P3. I think Aswan is just struggling a bit too hard in these sort of conditions, as well as the fact that you can see Izzy already pulling a pretty far gap on Aswan at this stage of the race.
Yeah, I wonder if there's going to be some team play here from the Ferrari teammates here. If Shahid is going to be led past here by Aswan, and then Aswan to hold up Mercedes. But no, looks like Switz will spoil their party here, and up into P4 he goes. Side by side they are. It's still not over. Into the braking zone. On the inside, you'll have to brake a little bit earlier. And on the outside, Shahid uses the outside line, gets the inside for turn 2, and retains his P4 for now. But on the exit, Switz get a better exit as well. And now, once again, they are probably going to go side by side into Curva Grande here.
Yeah, very respectful racing by the two of them, but I think Switz is a bit too far back to get a move on Shahir, but both driving really strong. Had a small look, but still pretty far back, 3/10 distance between the two of them. But I think soon enough, if Switz is able to chain the corners just right, might be able to get P4 away from Shahir and maybe fight for Aswan in P3.
Quite a big struggle here to keep up. Aswan seems to be quite a bit of time in the middle section here, but if he pulls that back in the middle section here, but that's a mistake there by Shahid. the same one that Switz made earlier on, but this time Switz could not capitalize on Shahid, so that means the Ferrari of Shahid gets into position. Last one, I think, was trying to let his teammate by, but he wasn't close enough. Ayman and Elia as well, swapping positions coming out of a scurry there, so possibly the same mistake happened over there. But now we are into the final lap. Shahid starts the final lap. We still have battles going on. Switch here now will try to make a move on the Ferrari, who has the better top speed, but who can stop it more efficiently as well. On the background we can see Elia and Ayman going for it as well. On the inside line here, Switch once again. Can he get a better exit? A little bit of a touch there. Gets on the curb, gets a poor exit, and that Ferrari stays in P4. Just behind them, Ayman, Haikal, and Elia going for it as well. Elia up into P6, and Ayman, I think he's probably not gonna challenge him that easily. We have still a three-way battle here. Look at this. The Alfa Romeos are sort of forming a blockade here against the McLaren of McD around here, and this is quite wonderful to see.
Yeah, I think McD definitely want to get past them, especially Zenub. I think they're very wary of it. Flaky gets a 3-second penalty.
But he's further ahead. Will Zenubi do the team play around here this time around to make sure McD doesn't get a good run? But no, Zenubi runs wide, and McD takes the opportunity to cut back on the inside and goes up into P10. Let's turn our attention quickly, coming out of Parabolica once again for the 7th time in this season. Charis wins the race. There you go.
Yeah.
And that will seal his championship as well. That might seal Red Bull's Constructors Championship as well today. Well, we'll just have to see as easy crosses in P2. Aswan in P3 for the Ferraris. There you go. The Tifosis are probably going to be screaming off the lungs. Switch in P4. What a recovery after that poor qualifying from one shot. Up in P4. Ella in P5. Ayman in P6. Shahi after the penalty goes down to P7. Nabil comes on in P8. As we wait to see Flaky here. Well, I think just a little bit of try to get some style points here, but he failed quite successfully over there. Finishes in P11 after the 3-second tap penalty. And we have Elia as the driver of the day. Nick, I think that's a wonderful show from him.
Yeah, very good, very clean. Hasn't been into much issues this time around. I think with the amount of takes that they have done, to recover their race after a horrible one-shot qualifying, definitely a good result for Elia this time around.
And the fastest lap goes to Charis as well, that he set during the dry session, on the hard tires. So, well, after the rain came, there's zero chance of improving on that. So well done to him as well. I think Kendra there today just got a little bit unlucky, whereas his teammate got quite lucky and timed it well. Started on the softs, made up 5 positions up into P4 at one point, and then he took the mediums, started to catch up back to the train, and just as the rain started to hit the track, well, Hot Stuff, who had a gamble on the intermediate tires 2 laps earlier, couldn't keep his mediums alive. Just as his DNF, the rain came down as well, so and then brought out a full safety car, which meant that race was neutralized for a little bit, and we had a, well, I wouldn't say less exciting on-track action, but you saw more raw brute force action from the drivers who, in the dries, you'll have to really make the moves count without DRS, and we saw some drivers came better than the others. Once again, I think we had a pretty good Italian GP race, Nick. We tend to hate it or love it sometimes. It's a real love-hate relationship with Monza, pretty sure. But yeah, I think we've had a good one today.
Yeah, I think the rain definitely has improved the enjoyability of Monza, because it started to become a snore fest at some point. But given the wet weather as well as the DNF basically neutralized the race, it definitely made for a very fun, very strong last-minute 7-lap sprint against the grid, and that has definitely caught a very good race for us in this league.
Yeah, and we've been live for almost 2 hours now. After that sprint race, we had a few incidents to review for the unfair penalties that were handed out by the game before we restarted the session for the main race. And yeah, I think I've used up my quota of talking for the entire week while I'm still recovering, but that does not stop us from having fun in today's race. With the race number 9 completed, Nick, we are heading to the finale next weekend at Singapore. That's gonna be a whole different kind of track. Monza is a full top speed circuit kind of a circuit, whereas Singapore is full downforce, a lot of corners, a lot of tire temperature issues as well, as drivers will find that out one way or another in the race. And I think we are up for a cracking finale, as we still have a few more positions to be settled in the Constructors' Championship and in the Drivers' Championship as well. As of today, Nick, I just did a quick calculation. It looks like Charis is our champion of season number 6, and Red Bull are the Constructors' Champion for season number 6 as well. So congratulations to them. Yeah, boos here and there, whatnot. But I think I think that was just sarcastic there from Nick. But yeah, I think Charis has really performed well from the start of the season, with other drivers forcing themselves to play catch up to him, and he's really performed consistently to deserve this victory. Last of Us in Singapore, they'll probably have to force him to do that just for some show purposes. Maybe if he would love to join in on the challenge. But yeah, we'll head to Singapore next weekend. Nick, what are your expectations for that before we round it off today?
I mean, it's going to be a very narrow track, Singapore. Notoriously very unforgiving, given how the walls are basically right at the track limits. So if there's anything to go by, if we are able to keep it as clean as we saw in Vegas, we might be in for a very, very interesting race. It's going to be really fun. Very hot weather, as well as very brutal on tire wear. So hopefully a very good race for the end of the season. It has been really fun.
Yeah, and with that, we'll round it off for today. To the folks in the chat as well, staying tuned with us throughout the entire 2 hours almost. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your support. Leave a like, and of course, this stream will be up shortly as well once it's YouTube does its thing, and we will be greeting you guys next weekend for the finale of season number 6 at the Singapore Grand Prix. Till then, everyone, take care, stay safe, and goodbye.